What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Good Wolf Project, formerly known as Good Wolf Radio. This is your host, Jerry Scarlato. Today, I want to talk to you about why we're making the switch from Good Wolf Radio to the current updated relaunch name, Good Wolf Project. The difference doesn't seem to be all that important, just changing one little name at the end of the what? Name. Word. Word at the end of the name. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Good Wolf Project, formerly known as Good Wolf Radio. This is your host, Jerry Scarlato. And today, I want to talk to you about that transition from Good Wolf Radio to the Good Wolf Project and why it's so important. It doesn't seem like taking one word out of a name and changing it would be that important. But shifting from Good Wolf Radio to Good Wolf Project is thinking too much. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Good Wolf Project, formerly known as Good Wolf Radio. This is your host, Jerry Scarlato, and today, that's what I want to talk to you about. The change from Good Wolf Radio to the Good Wolf Project and why it's going to be so important for our journey moving forward. It doesn't seem like taking one word out of a name and shifting it just a little bit would be that drastic. But the change to the word project versus radio is very deliberate. Project reminds us that what we're doing, the changes that we're making, it is a journey. It is something that is ongoing. A project, the idea of a project is that it takes transformation. It takes steps, it takes time. You have to add things along the way. You have to construct it, you have to put it together, maybe take it back apart, maybe try something different. And that is what this life is. That is what this podcast is about adding things into your life, doing them, seeing if they empower you, seeing if they build a better version of you. If not, let's take it apart and let's add something different. And over time, you build a strong, resilient person. You build a strong, resilient person physically. You build a strong, resilient person mentally. And that's what this is about. It's about the project, it is about the journey of the person. If you know anything about the parable of the good wolf, which if you don't, I'll go ahead and tell you, the parable comes from the Cherokee Indians. It's a parable of a Cherokee chief and his grandson. And they're talking, and the chief's telling his grandson that there are two wolves inside of all of us, a good wolf and a bad wolf. A bad wolf that's full of fear and envy and greed and gluttony, and a good wolf that's full of courage and fortitude and persistence and discipline. And the grandson looks at him for a second after he's finished talking and he says, "Well, Grandpa, which one wins?" And he looks at his grandson and he says, "The one you feed." It is about the journey. It is about consistently feeding that good wolf inside of you. It's about consistently building on top of new habits, on top of new behaviors over time. It's not about doing it once and then being done. No matter what it is, what aspect of your life you're working on, it's going to require your attention every day moving forward. Every day moving forward. Personal development is a development. You develop over time. And it all requires you to pay attention to it every day. It doesn't matter if it is your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your relational health. All of it requires you to pay attention and to work on it every single day. It's like taking a bath. That's the analogy. Do you take a bath once and then you're done? Of course you don't. You do it every day, or at least a couple times a week, hopefully. But you do it regularly. You take a bath regularly Otherwise, people wouldn't want to be around you. And if you don't take care of yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and otherwise, good chance people won't want to be around you either. So that's why it's important to recognize that this is a journey. This is something that you are going to work on forever and that you're going to do it every day. It's going to take persistent, ongoing effort. So, what should you expect then moving forward? Well, it's not going to be all that drastically different from the content that you've heard before. If you've been around for the last year, the podcast has been up and running since last January, which is kind of hard to believe. If you've been around since last year, you know that over that 12-month period of time, it transformed and changed a lot from the very first episode to the December, which is around the time when I recorded the last episode in 2023. It changed a lot. It changed a lot. So it did transform over that time. And that's why it also felt right to shift the name, because the identity of the podcast had shifted anyway. We'll be talking a lot about personal development. How do you make yourself better? We'll do it in a couple of ways, a couple of formats. Solo episodes will be regular, of course. Sometimes we'll take a topic and we'll just dive into the topic and we'll see what we can do to improve that specific thing that we're talking about. Sometimes we'll talk about a book. We'll do a Good Wolf Books episode and we'll dive into the book and we'll see what we can pull out of the book, what actionable items we can take out of the book. Other times we'll do interviews. We'll talk with other achievers in some area. Achiever is such a, I'll say, underappreciated word and also misunderstood word, because we hear achiever and we think like financially successful or successful in sports, but it's like we don't think about it in any other aspect. You can be an achiever in a lot of things. There's many areas of life of which you can be an achiever. You can be an achiever in relationships. You can be an achiever in your career. Yes. Financially. Yes. Athletics. You can also be an achiever in helping people in many ways. You can be an achiever by volunteering regularly and doing that regularly. You can be an achiever by being a mentor to people. So there's a lot of ways you can be an achiever. But we'll hear from other people who have accomplished something, overcome obstacles, overcome fear, overcome distraction, and figured out how to build the discipline necessary to get what they want out of life. Because that's what this is about. What do you want out of life? It's recognizing that you can get what you want out of life if you become aware first, but then start to put action to it second. And that's what everything here will evolve around, is action. What are the actionable things that we can take from this conversation and plug into our lives? Because if we don't have that, then we can't progress. We can't move forward. We can only stay still if we don't have something to apply, because that's what this is about. And that's what everybody has trouble with, is application. So many people know what to do. They have it in their brains, what I need to do in order to eat better, in order to exercise better, in order to build my relationship, in order to further myself in my career, in order to start saving money, in order to make more money. A lot of people have it in there somewhere. They know what to do, but they don't apply it. They don't apply. That is what is about application, putting it to your life so that you actually start to move forward and make progress. That's why so many people feel that discontent and that angst in their life, because they're just not making progress. And that's what we're here to do. So that's what I wanted to cover with you today. Why we're making the shift, what you should expect moving forward. I'm excited about what's coming up next. We already have a bunch of interviews lined up, and I look forward, of course, to my first solo episode, because if you've listened, you know that I like jammering away on this microphone and at this camera. Nonetheless, I look forward to growing with you, to watching you build your good wolf, and to watching you become the best version of yourself. Until next time. Until next time, go out into the world and be brave.